So today we're going to be covering the beginning of handstand. So basically you can think of this as a level 1. If you haven't seen my first video, I made a tutorial on the absolute beginning of handstand. Like you probably never heard of a handstand, or you're curious to do a handstand but you don't know where to start. So if you want to check that video out, dropped it like a while ago, so check it out. As for today though, we're going to be going over exit strategies, building some strength, and some wall drills. If you're watching this video, you're obviously here for a reason, because you got curious during quarantine maybe, and you wanted to learn how to handstand. So I'm gonna show you how to do that with a few easy steps. Don't mind the hat, I just got this hat. I think it's pretty cool. If you don't like it, it's fine. It's made out of paper though, not plastic. So, all right, let's get started. So now that we got that out of the way, I usually like to start my warm-ups by stretching my wrist. I feel like that's one of the most important part. It's kind of like when you jog, you kind of want to warm up your ankles. Think of your feet like your hands. All right, so at this point, you should already be familiar with handstands. Like I said, I made a previous video. You should go check that out if you're not familiar with handstands. But I'm gonna show you now how to exit out of a handstand, assuming you're doing it against the wall. Okay, so the first one is forward roll, but sliding down. Most people get into a handstand and they kick up with their back to the wall and then they just come down. But if you're gonna be a little bit more advanced, you're gonna have your chest to the wall, and then you're like, now what? I'm stuck. I think it's time to lose the hat because we ain't trying to forward roll with the hat. So be gone. I'm going to try to speak while I demonstrate. If the audio is not that good and you see me talking without my mouth moving, then I'm probably gonna end up voiceovering it. But for the chances are the audio has been pretty clear because it's very quiet in this room. So first things first, we're gonna be putting our feet against the wall, chest to the wall, and we're gonna be sliding down. I'm gonna show you the correct ways to do them and the incorrect ways to do it. I'm gonna start with the incorrect first. So when most people get up on the wall, you're here and then you walk closer to the wall, right? Now, when you're coming down, the incorrect thing to do is just slide. Like, oh God, That is a very incorrect thing to do. The correct thing to do is you're here and you're falling down and your arms are bending, but you don't want to land onto you don't want to arch, you want to round. So bend your legs, tuck your head, and then you can roll off, just to keep it more safe. I'll show you again really quick. So I know I was holding this position for a long time and many might not be able to hold it like this for a long time. That's fine. That's why I'm just doing it slow so I can demonstrate like if it was slow motion, but it's not. I'm gonna start from the top again. And I'm gonna lower myself a little bit faster, just so you can see what it'll look like. So I'm in my first position. I'm getting tired. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna roll away, and I'm good. So for that particular exercise, you want to make sure you have your chin to your chest so you don't hit the top of your noggin, okay? Because the noggin is very important. If you're having a difficult time doing it, you can always check out look up forward roll on the internet, and I'm sure a tutorial for that will pop up. If not, I get a lot of questions asking, maybe I'll just make a forward roll tutorial. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just put your chin down to your chest, and then that way you can protect your dome, and then you can just forward roll. So the next one we're going to be covering is handstand chest to the wall and kicking out. Because if your chest is to the wall and you're falling this way, you can go to a back bend, but most people are not too flexible, so they end up just slamming their back onto the floor. I am not demonstrating that. That's pretty painful. So I'll show two angles of this. I'm gonna show one in the side, and then I'm gonna put one in front. So the first one I'm doing is walking up to the wall again, here, And then I'm bringing my left leg down and I'm following it with my right foot. So it's kind of like a cartwheel, assisted cartwheel from my handstand, and you're just guiding your legs down to the ground and twisting out, which is good practice if when you're kicking up to a handstand, let's say you kick too hard, you can just turn and twist out and bring your legs to the ground, and you end up being really safe. Now this is the front angle I'm going to show you from this side. Normally when I twist out, I twist to my right, but I have a wall next to me, so I'm going to twist out to the left. But it's the same concept, vice versa. My voice cracked, did you hear that? I need water. So again, putting my feet on the door, bringing my left leg down, and following with my right foot. So by bringing my left leg down, I'm just trying to bring it over towards my hand side. You don't want to really pass your arm because that's going to cause you to really twist. So you just want to bring it next to you, bring it down next to you, not past you. That way you can keep your motions controlled. Okay, so now that we got exit strategies out of the way, we can start with building strength and time. Alright, so there's a few ways that people use the wall. They have their backs to the wall, or they have their fronts to the wall. My personal favorite is having my chest to the wall. There's another one that I use, there's a specific exercise that I use, having my back to the wall. I'm going to show you why using the wall can jeopardize your training or add value to your training. I should probably move that. Okay, so we're going to start with having our backs to the wall this time. And this is the first thing that I tell my clients to do because it's the simplest one to do. First thing you want to do is when you're kicking up to a handstand, you want to have your finger pointers forward. So meaning like you put your index fingers forward, just like this, point them to the wall. Then you can spread out your hands and put them in front of you. And you might be asking like, what distance do I use? Well, the closer you get, the harder it is, but the straighter you are. The farther you are with your hands, the more arched you're gonna be because your feet are gonna be placed up here and your hands are gonna be placed over here. So it's gonna create an arch. So minimizing the distance between your hands and the wall is gonna have you more of a straight line versus here to here. All right, so first things first, we're gonna put our fingers pointers forward and we're gonna kick up to a handstand. And then you're gonna come down. So that's one of the first exercises that I tell most individuals to do to build up their time. You can stay up there for a duration of time as you will, don't overdo it, and come down when you're ready. The second progression that we do is a little bit more advanced. This is to help you more with your posture. So instead of having your flares open when you're against the wall, with your back to the wall, you're gonna have your chest to the wall and it's gonna be more hollowed out. If you wanna look at a previous video that I did, that has more information on hollow holds, arch holds, and more core engagement. We're gonna start the same way I showed you earlier in the video. Right here. I'm gonna walk. Now you can either have your feet pointed or your feet flexed. I usually keep my feet flexed, sometimes pointed. You really want to push up on your shoulders and engage your core, but don't flex too hard. You don't want your head sticking out like this, and you also don't really want to be looking at the wall. You want to look right in between your thumbs, and when you're ready to come down, bring your right leg down or your left, and then follow along with your left leg or your right. And that's just to keep it safe. When you get a little bit more comfortable with your inversion practice, you're gonna feel a little bit more aligned and stacked onto your hands by having your chest against the wall. The third one, which is most people don't tell you, this would originate to the first back to the wall that I like to do, but I'm gonna show you the way I like to do it to eliminate bad posture or the arch in your back. I like to kick up with my right leg, have one leg, my left, off the wall, straight into the handstand position, and my right foot against the wall in a bent position. So with this one, you actually don't want to be really close to the wall. You want to be slightly away from the wall, probably like arm's distance. So right where I'm standing is probably where I want my hands. So I'm gonna kick up with my right leg. I don't have to kick up too hard. So right now I have my arched position. I'm gonna take my left leg off and use my right leg behind me to put me more into that handstand position. As I point my toe on my right foot, it's gonna help me come off the wall. I don't wanna push off, I just wanna slightly come off the wall. Just like that. So once I feel balanced in my position and I feel like I'm floating in my vertical position, I use my hands just like I use my feet to bring me back off the wall, just like that. So you want to use your hands the same way you use your feet. If you're moving forward, you ever seen Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson just leans. Just imagine that every time you're about to fall forward or backwards, just use your hands, use your hands, your hands. Hands is like a gas pedal. When I'm practicing with my back to the wall, I like to do that exercise. And when I'm practicing with my chest to the wall, I like to practice on my form more. So it depends on really what you're doing and what your goals are. But for the most part, our goal is the same. The goal really is to handstand and increase your time. So by increasing your time, you can practice these wall drills. All right, so now that we got time covered, let's go over strengthening. So now that we're done with our wall exercise and increasing our time, let's talk about some exercise you can do for your inversion practice, like shrugs. Personally, I like to do shrugs when I'm doing my handstands because when people are doing your handstands, most people's handstands, their shoulders collapse like that. So this is pretty much what a shrug is. A shrug is just moving your shoulders up and down, up and down. I'm doing that in the handstands as well, up and down, up and down. So I'm gonna show you two angles, the one against the wall and then the one over here. You can do it either or, you can do it with your back to the wall or your chest to the wall. I'm gonna do my chest to the wall on this side because it is hot and I'm sweating and I don't wanna show my pit stains to the world. So when you're up on the wall, you can have your hands a little turned out if you want, or your fingers pointing forward. So squeezing your glutes, you're just gonna shrug down, shrug up, shrug down, shrug up, shrug down, shrug up. And you can do that for as many as you want. Usually I do that to warm up sometimes, or sometimes I just do that at the end of my practice to try to gain some more stability on my arm. If you want to increase the difficulty on that, you can just go to one arm and just shrug with your one arm. Another way to increase stability is by hanging on a pull-up bar, hanging with one arm or two arms, and you can do the same thing, except you'll be pulling versus pushing. But that's only if you want to like work your entire shrugging, pull and push. So from the side angle, it's gonna look a little like this. And this time I'm gonna do back to the wall. So I'm gonna get a little close to the wall, down, up, down, up, down, up. And again, you can do that for whatever you feel comfortable with. You don't want to get too tired and fall, but you already know how to fall because we covered that earlier. Most individuals usually believe they need a lot of strength to handstand, but that's not necessarily the case. You just need to get used to being upside down. When your arms become bent, that's necessarily when you need the strength, because now your triceps are engaged and your arms are engaged, your shoulders are engaged, everything is really engaged. When your arms are straight up into the air, it's kind of like having your legs locked out when you're standing. As soon as you bend for a squat, that's when you really start engaging the muscles. A progression for both of the wall exercises that I just showed you to shrug, we're gonna do a different position. So for the two exercises that I just showed you with the shrugs against the wall, if you're having a tough time doing it, progression that you can do is downward dog. Downward dog is a yoga move or yoga exercises done in yoga, of course. And you basically want to have your hands forward, legs straight. Now, if you're not too flexible, you can still have it here, it's okay. I'm gonna put mine a little closer. It makes it a little easier as well. And it's gonna be the same thing. You don't wanna have your neck out like this because that's gonna target more of your chest area. And you wanna have your head more through in this one so you can simulate the handstand position. So same, depression, and then you're gonna lift up, then down. If you want to get more of your scapula workout as well, you can do it in a push-up position, like this. So all of these are going to create shoulder stability for you to handstand easier or make your journey a little easier. Let's talk about the last exercise or drill that we can practice without a wall, since we know how to fall and we have a little bit more shoulder stability and we have a little bit more of an understanding of how to use our hands. I'm gonna use this table. I'm gonna put my foot on the table and I'm gonna have one leg straight. Once I come up to that straight position and I feel like I'm floating, I'm not gonna rush my other leg on there to cause myself to fall. I'm gonna use my hands to try to come back either to here or try to stay in place. Let's talk about the distance. So my distance is gonna be like this, right? Well, actually the way you wanna measure your distance is just like this. You're gonna stand in front of it and you're gonna bend down wherever your box is, whether it's the wall or a box or a stool. Just make sure it's a little sturdy. I'm gonna have my feet up against this box. So that's my measurements. My hands is gonna go right here. This box is really unstable, but that's okay. So now that I'm up, I'm a little inverted. I'm gonna straighten my left leg and I'm gonna stick my back leg behind me. So my right leg. My left leg is straight. I'm using my right leg, my top leg, to pull me up and away from the wall. All right, now I'm not gonna go and throw my other leg on top of it like this, so it allows me to fall. I'm gonna keep it down and keep it controlled and come back down to the same spot. Remember, the more control you have, the better you're gonna understand the handstand and what you should and should not do. So by me throwing my leg up, I'm just rushing myself and falling over and getting frustrated. By keeping my leg down, when I come up, I can control it and then come back down. And when I'm ready, like, oh, okay, I can hold it for a few seconds, I can start bringing my leg up. So I'm gonna show you from this side now. Do the same thing. So, put my right leg on. This time I'm gonna do the other side. Just like this. I'm gonna pull myself up, right here. And then I'm gonna come back down. And then rinse and repeat the process as many times as you want. All right, now that we're wrapping things up, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you in the next one. I'm glad I can be of service and teach you guys during times like this. If you're here for a reason and you wanna learn how to handstand, I think it's a great idea, it's a great tool. Keep your minds off things. It's also another thing, it's a cool party trick, it's cool in general. It's like a different perspective in life. You're just like upside down, doing who knows what, all over the place. Just fun, makes you happy, puts a smile on your face. But word of advice, don't take it so seriously. If somebody's judging on your form, chances are they probably don't have good form anyways, so you shouldn't listen to them. Just take your time with whatever you're doing, whether it's handstand related or life related. Just take your time. It's your journey, it's not theirs. It's your life, it's not theirs. You write your chapters, they don't. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. You can see any of my other social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, they're all the same name. It's @FitLikeSosa. It is my pleasure to be making these videos for you guys. Also, if you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe. It helps me support, helps me know that you like these videos so I can keep making more. And yeah, feel free to give me your feedback. Looking forward to you on my journey as well. That way you guys can see me and I can see you guys, and have a nice connection. Have a great day. Thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you on the next one.